Oh, it's the Sorcerer. Yes, it is. We're back to talk about the Sorcerer. It's been a while since I've done a video on Sorcerers, and this is actually a really more of a Dungeon Master variant rule video rather than anything else. I'm just doing my sound check to make sure everything is coming through good. Yep, seems to be going fine, so I'm going to just pop out my earplugs. Now, you will find the start time down in the description for those of you who want to skip past all of my sound check and my introduction and giving people an opportunity to jump into the room. You can skip past all of that if you need to. Not going to be a problem. Okay, now, normally, if you haven't been part of my live streams, normally what I do is I present everything first and then I open it up for questions and answers before moving on. And I usually provide time at the end of the live stream for people to give feedback in the term of questions and answers. All right, I'm going to get into this pretty quickly. It is time to do the video, so we will get started. And then, yes, we'll have a chat at the end of this. Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Weller and I'm going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons because I'm always talking about Dungeons & Dragons, and of course we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5e and my variant rule. This is my own personal variant rule that I've been using for quite a while. I've used it at least twice in 2 games now, and it's basically, I'm going to call it the Wild Magic Surge Galore. I can't think of anything else that would be more appropriate, so that's what I'm going to go with. Now, wild magic for the sorcerer sounds like so much fun, till you actually see the rules in the player's handbook. And honestly, from the player's handbook, it doesn't look that much fun. The idea behind it is awesome, but the actual delivery of the concept in the book, it really does sort of suck. So if you turn to pages 103 and 104 of the player's handbook, to have a look at the really cool random chaos that the wild magic sorcerer can actually perform, you'll notice it's more of a sort of sucks it down the drain hole into regular boredom, where there's a very, very slim chance that you might get a chance to actually use the wild magic surge table or chart. And of course, you've also got to be beholden to a dungeon master allowing you to roll that 20-sided dice, and then there's a 1 in 20 chance that you'll roll that 1 and be able to use the chart. So essentially, it blows chunks, it really does. I don't particularly like it. So yes, rolling a 1 on a 20-sided dice to use that Wild Magic Surge chart, it totally blows carrot chunks as far as I'm concerned. So this is my absolutely awesome, super simple variant rule. And it's like this. Every time the Wild Magic Sorcerer casts a spell of 1st level or higher, roll the percentile dice for the Wild Magic Surge table. No rolling a d20 to determine whether you're going to get to use the chart or not. As soon as you use a 1st level spell or higher, it's time to use that chart. Your game or your game of Dungeons & Dragons will never really be quite the same. It's going to be full of a lot of crying, a lot of laughter, pretty much in every game session. That's what I have found pretty much consistently right across 2 campaigns. I've played this right through the Curse of Strahd. I used this in the current campaign, and as it happens, my home group insisted that I do this video and let you know about it because they said they were having so much fun. So I thought I would share it with you. It sounds really simple, and it is. Now, there's a couple of things you need to do to establish some boundaries around this, otherwise it will create some problems. You will need to establish that it will work in your campaign and it won't actually wreck the entire thing. So you, as the Dungeon Master, have to make that decision. The Dungeon Master should take plenty of time to think about this variant rule before you apply it or put it into place. So have a really good hard think, have a look at the chart, roll those dice, decide sort of whether you are happy to have these sorts of things take place in your game. And actually, more importantly, it's not so much the Dungeon Master taking plenty of time to decide whether they want to use the variant rule, and that is that all of you should check with all of the players before doing anything like this. This variant rule has a huge effect on the party. Not so much on the Dungeon Master, the effect on the party is massive because as it happens, there are quite a few potential consequences to using this particular method of applying the Wild Magic Surge table. Now, some of the consequences will be you will literally disable yourself for one turn or the whole battle as you turn yourself into a pot plant or a sheep or transport yourself to the astral plane, where of course you're going to do no good to anybody while it's taking place. And then of course there's always the chance of you doing the most disastrous thing and rolling up something that pretty much blasts your allies with destructive magic, or something that's really not going to be very helpful. So fireballing yourself and then including the party as well, because they're close by, it's not really going to be considered a very happy consequence. It might not be quite so bad if you're standing in the middle of a pack of orcs and everybody else is far away, but they're probably not going to like it if you wind up fireballing yourself and them. Getting confused, the confusion spell is part of that, and fog cloud, not quite so bad, but there are a few things in there that can really sort of mess with the party's cohesion. I found that being taken out of the battle for large periods of time is probably the most troublesome. So turning into a pot plant, turning into a sheep, those are the ones that sort of mess things up the most for the party, because they didn't have my help anymore. They didn't get me causing anything that was problematic, but I wasn't actually there to help. So they were essentially down one person. And then of course, the things that are going to happen most often are these. More often, you're going to see something that's cosmetic that will happen to your character, like growing a beard of feathers. I've had this happen many times. Shrinking or growing, getting another eye, turning blue. I can't count the number of times that I have turned blue, or just blowing pink bubbles from your mouth. These are all things that aren't hugely impactful on the party or on the game for you, but they are certainly highly entertaining in the middle of battle. Then this happens probably a little less than the more cosmetic aspects of the chart, and that is sometimes good things will happen. And that might be you get the chance to fly, summoning a unicorn, modrons, flumps. These are all things that aren't necessarily going to be hugely useful to you, but they can be dependent on your dungeon master. Turning invisible, absolutely very useful. Reincarnate if you wind up dying. It's kind of very situational, but there are actually a couple of options in the chart that allow for you to turn yourself or others invisible. So it can be really helpful. And the one that's sort of one of my favorites is calling down lightning, where you can literally select who is going to be targeted by your magic, which is kind of really, really cool. I mean, it's part of the reason why a lot of people prefer to have this kind of variety. I mean, the bad things don't outweigh the good things, which is why you would want to play a Wild Magic Surge sorcerer in the first place. Now, I have just a couple of things I want to say, and that is, if you are using a variant role for Wild Magic Surge, please share that with me in the comments. Let me know what you're doing in your game. I suspect that a lot of people have made changes to Wild Magic. Let me know if you would consider using this particular rule, and if you do, what sort of game you're playing in. As I said, I think it's smart to make sure you do all your research and have a chat with everybody involved so they know what they're getting into, because sometimes things won't go quite your way. And now, if you want to support me, watching this video helped. Well, I have hundreds more for players and dungeon masters. You're welcome to go and check them out. I don't do Patreon, but I do have affiliate links to the book depository and Amazon that help support the channel. I get a small commission from all of those purchases. Now, share and like the video, subscribe, hit the bell button, and hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. There it is. Forgot it, 20. Okay, I'm not gone. I'm just switching over. Give me a second. There's only a couple of people in here, but I did want to talk really, really briefly. Rather than pulling up the screen, I'm just going to pull up this image, because this is the image that sort of made me think the Wild Mage is really, really fun. So I'm going to leave that there for now. So let's have a really quick chat, and then I'm going to go. Blady57 Full. how's it going, mate? Or if it's not mate, how's it going, whoever you are. Dear Jesus, I got a thumbs up. Awesome, thank you very much. Small turnout tonight. Yeah, well, it happens. It's not a topic that I think a lot of people are hugely fond of, but my group really thought that it was a good stream to do. Funny thing is, I did not get a notification for this live stream till the time it started. Yeah, I'm not surprised. That actually tends to happen. Yeah, I don't know what to say about YouTube, honestly. Fudd, how's it going? Thank you. You think I did a good job? Awesome. If I did a good job, that's good news. Scott McClay. So you are late. Unfortunately, Scott, I've just about finished. I didn't take that long to actually present everything. What I will do is, I think at some point I will actually talk about the chart in detail. I mean, I could now, but I don't feel like it's really necessary. This video is really more about, here's a variant rule that me and my group use. We've found it really entertaining and fun, and maybe you can get something out of it. So I'm going to call it quits there. So have a good night, a good morning, good afternoon, good day, whatever it is in your country. Look after your family and look after yourself. And I hope you find entertainment from my suggested variant rule. So good night.